Hey space friends, this week I'm talking about the 5 farthest space probes that are still talking to us despite all of our nagging. You may be wondering, where are all of these space probes? Are they lonely? Do they dream of electromagnetic sheep? Have they met aliens? The farthest space probe is Voyager 1, and while it has no images of sheep included on its famous golden record, it does have sounds of nature to lull it to sleep. Even though Voyager 1 is 20 billion kilometers away from us, the very first spacecraft ever to reach interstellar space, it's not lonely just yet. It keeps gabbing away at us on the Deep Space Network and could continue to do so until the year 2036, after which, yeah, perhaps having less than an iPod worth of songs for the next billion years might just suck. Voyager 1 is awesome not only for being the farthest spacecraft, but also for making some awesome discoveries. It discovered Jupiter's ring, and it was also the very first to discover active volcanoes in our solar system, other than here on Earth, on Jupiter's moon Io. This is because Voyager 1 was the very first space probe ever to get detailed images of Jupiter, Saturn, and its moons. Before Voyager 1, all of these cool things in outer space were kind of just fuzzy bits of sky to us. The second farthest space probe is Voyager 2 at over 17 billion kilometers away, and although it's an identical twin to Voyager 1, it's pretty badass in its own way. While at Jupiter and Saturn, it discovered some new moons, but it went on to fly by Uranus and Neptune, the only space probe in human history that has ever done so. At Uranus, it discovered 10 new moons and got breathtaking close-ups of the planet and its moons, Miranda, and of course the coolest moon of all, Ariel. At Neptune, Voyager 2 really upstaged its twin by getting epic, gorgeous views of Neptune and its moon Triton, which I talked about in my Weird Moons video. If you're a millennial, chances are that you always grew up knowing what the outer planets looked like. But if you're a kid today, you're probably growing up always knowing what Pluto looked like, thanks to the third farthest space probe, New Horizons. Before New Horizons, the highest resolution image of Pluto was taken from the Hubble Space Telescope all the way from low Earth orbit. New Horizons studied Pluto and its moons for 5 months before getting the heck out of Dodge and going deeper into the Kuiper Belt, an ancient relic of our solar system that has a ton of icy objects in it. New Horizons is now over 5 billion kilometers away, on its way to study 2014 MU-69, a Kuiper Belt object that orbits the Sun every 295 years. The fourth farthest space probe has hung out at Saturn for over a decade. Cassini launched into space carrying the Huygens probe, which it dropped off at Saturn's moon Titan to take 350 photos of the most alien landscape of lakes of methane and ethane that it was able to discover there. The endless stream of photos from Cassini of Saturn, of its weird weather and storms and mysterious rings, has forever shaped our view of this delightful planet. Cassini also discovered icy plumes emanating from Saturn's moon Enceladus. If you know me, you know that I have endlessly geeked out about all the cool things that we've learned about Enceladus, and things like how some people like to pronounce it more like enchiladas, which is kind of awesome because, well, space enchiladas are probably also delightful. Now I'm a bit hungry. Sadly, Cassini is at its end after so many years of awesomeness. As of September 15th, 2017, Cassini will have plunged to its death in the depths of Saturn's atmosphere to avoid accidentally contaminating any of Saturn's pristine moons. The fifth farthest space probe is Juno at the orbit of Jupiter. Unfortunately, Juno is a short-lived mission. Having just arrived at Jupiter in 2016, it's set to meet its fate in early 2018. But despite being a short-lived mission, Juno is definitely packing in a lot, notably gathering clues around what the inside of Jupiter is made up of. While there are many theories and we're getting closer to knowing, we still don't know what the center of Jupiter is made up of, whether it has a solid core or not. Juno also has a fantastic citizen science program, opening its raw images up to be processed by people like you and me. The results have been some of the most hauntingly beautiful images of Jupiter I have ever seen in my life. So after Cassini and Juno meet their fate, what will be the next farthest space probes? Well, there's Dawn at Ceres, a dwarf planet between Mars and Jupiter in the asteroid belt, but Dawn might only be active until the end of 2018. After that, the space between Mars and Pluto will be utterly empty of active space probes. There are plans to send space probes like JUICE to Jupiter, which would arrive in the year 2030, and Europa Clipper, which would maybe arrive at Jupiter in the mid-2020s. Something I'm really excited about is NASA is eyeing a potential return to Uranus or Neptune, but that space probe wouldn't reach Uranus or Neptune until the late 2030s or maybe early 2040s. So the Outer Planets Alliance will be lonely for the foreseeable future, and I don't mean the Belters from the Expanse series, but the Outer Planets Alliance of humanity's space probes. Thanks so much for tuning in, space friends. Become an official space friend by joining my Patreon on, and also help get the word out to your friends to subscribe here on YouTube. And until next time, have fun.